शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। The Mangalacharanam is on the page 103 of this book. First, the Upodghata Prakaranam. Chaitanyam sarvagam sarvam sarvabhuta guhashayam yat sarva vishayatitam tasmai sarvavide namaha. Tasmai sarvavide namaha. I salute, I bow down to Sarvavide, to that Sarvavid, the all-knowing Lord. Tasmai samanyatha prasiddha. Paramatma, who is well known in general, to him I salute, I bow down. Sarvavide, Sarvam Veti, one who knows everything, to that omniscient Lord or Paramatma I salute. Who is he? Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam. One is the nature of Chaitanyam, Chitisvabhavam Jnanasvarupam. Nature of consciousness, or the nature of knowledge. And therefore, all knowing is not an act of knowing, is the Swarupa, the very nature of the Lord or Paramatma, the nature of. And therefore, by illumining all the knowledge, he is all knowing. Sarvagam. Some people believe that Atma is consciousness, all right, but then he is atomic in size, anuparimana iti ekadeshana. Some people believe that Atma is the nature of the size of the body. So it is said, Sarvagam. Sarvatra gacchati, Sarvagam. One is all pervasive, Nityam Vibhum, Sarvagatam Susukshmam. Vibhum, Sarvagatam, Susukshmam, all pervasive, subtler than the subtlest. All right, you say Sarvagam, pervading all. So all that is pervaded, and the consciousness that pervades, looks like they are different, all pervading. So says no, Sarvam. There is no duality of the one who pervades and one that is pervaded. He is Sarvam, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So by saying Sarvam, that he is all, he is Sarvopadanam. He is the Upadanam, material cause of all. See, Chaitanyam, he is of the nature of knowledge. Say that he is the Nimitta Karanam, the efficient cause. However, not in primary sense. So, as though Upadana Karanam, as though Nimitta Karanam. So, Vedanta is Vivarta Upadana Karanam, Vivarta Nimitta Karanam. But there is no Karanam other than Paramatma, that's for sure. Mattah Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhanjaya. All right, even though Brahma is Sarvatmakam, all pervading, and still Jiva is one, Brahma is another one, because that's what some people believe. Sarabhuta Guhashayam. No. Sarabhuta Guhashayam. Sarabhutanam Sthavaradangamanam Guhasu Buddhishu Sheteti. The one that dwells in the Guha, which is the cave of the nature, the intellect, one who dwells in the cave of the intellect of all the beings, meaning that one who is the self of all, who is Sarvabuddhi, Sarvaprane Buddhyantas Sakshitaya Nirvikaram Vartate, one that is the witness, abiding in the intellect of all, he is the self of all. There is no duality between Brahman and Atma. All right, Brahman, Atma dwells in my heart. Manas Vedyatvam, that means that I shall know him as in my mind, as such and such. So, Yat Sarva Vishayatitam. So that which transcends the idea of the Vishaya or the object, that is not to be known as Vishaya as an object, is to be known all right, but as Avishaya, as a very subject and not as a very object. Sarvantah karanatva prachara sakshinaha. Antahkaran tat prachara. So one that is sakshi, the witness, the illuminator of all the minds as well as all the thoughts in the mind. So therefore, one who is witness of the mind cannot become the object of the mind. One that is the witness of the mind cannot become the object or objectified by the mind. Therefore, he is not to be known as an object of knowledge. Paramatma is known as the very subject of the knower, the very self of the knower. So thus, this is how the salutation is performed to Paramatma. Mangalacharana Vyajena Vedanta Shastriya Vishayadi Anubandobhyatra Prapanchitaha. By way of saluting the Paramatma. So Mangalacharanam of nature of Tattvanusandhanam, nature of the deliberation, contemplation upon the Tattva, the truth, the reality. By that Mangalacharanam, by the auspicious beginning, which is to set an example for all these subsequent generations with posterity, and also for one's own self. Although you may think that someone like Bhashyakara does not require, because he doesn't have to remember Bhagavan, he doesn't have to salute Bhagavan, he always remains saluted. He is very self, and there is no question of remembering, but still, he presents himself as like anybody else, and therefore sets an example of how one should conduct oneself. Subsequent teachers. So, thus by way of saluting the Ishtadevata, the Paramatma, Vedanta Shastriya Vishayadi Anubandobhyatra Prapanchitaha. the Anubandha Chatushtaya, the Vishaya, Prayojanam, Sambandha, and Adhikari. So all of these are also presented here, suggested here. Uktavakyartha Vishaya Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam. That's a very subject matter of Vedanta. Sarva Vishayatitam, yet Sarva Vishayatitam, that transcends the idea of Vishaya or object, meaning that untouched by object, untouched by samsara, is a samsari, samsaratitam, meaning that free from all the dukkha, and therefore ashesha anartha nivritti upalakshitam, devoid of all the anartha, all the grief or suffering of samsara, niritasya ananda avirbhavatmakam, of the nature of the limitless happiness. Brahma eva prayojanamuktam, that Brahma, knowledge of which removes the dukkha and enables one to attain the limitless happiness, is the very prayojanam. And one who desires is adhikari. Tat kamo adhikari suchitah. The one who wants cessation of all the dukkha, attainment of all limitless happiness, is adhikari. And Pratipadya Pratipadaka Bhavaha. Shastra is Pratipadaka, that it expounds. Pranus Pratipadyam, that expounded, that's the Sambandha. So that way the Anubandha Chatushtaya also is suggested here. Devata Namaskara Vyajena. By way of Namaskara, the salutation of Devata Param Brahma. Vedanta Pratipadya Paradevata Tattvam Upakshiptam is hinted that Paradevata is the Tattvam, the reality expounded by Vedanta. So what is it that the Vedantas teach? Now the author has to establish here that Vedanta or Upanishads serves a purpose different from that of Karmakanda. Because Purva Mimamsa, the Karmakanda includes Upanishad, Vedanta also as a part of Karmakanda only. They do not look upon Upanishad as a separate grantha or a separate text or separate prakaranam. Whereas Vedantin wants to establish that Vedanta upon a different prakaranam having its own anubandha. What is called prakaranam? Has its own anubandha chatushtaya. Karmakanda is one prakaranam having one anubandha chatushtaya, and Vedanta or Upanishad another prakaranam having its own anubandha chatushtaya. So unless you establish that Upanishad as something independent to contribute, it is a unique pramanam, means of knowledge in its own right, Upanishad does not become commentable, meaning that it's not right to comment upon something which is not independent pramanam. Therefore, the Upanishad is Vedantona Upanishad Pramanam. The Pramanya Upanishad must be established. For that, it must be established that Upanishad contributes something independent and different from what Karmakanda contributes. For that, the Upanishad has, or Jnanakanda has, its own Anubandha Chatushtaya, different from that of Karmakanda. And then there is a sequence also, that in life of a spiritual aspirant there is Karma Kanda followed by Jnana Kanda. So that is the krama or sequence that you find in the Vedas. This first is Karma Kanda, the section dealing with karma rituals, and then comes Jnana Kanda, section dealing with knowledge. So Purvapara Sambandha, what precedes, should establish the basis for what follows. There should be logical following. That since Karma Kanda is the first section, then that Karma Kanda contributes something to the life of an aspirant, and that prepares the aspirant for the Jnana Kanda. If that sequence is there, there is a Hetu Madbhava Sambandha, that Karma Kanda as though becomes the cause for Jnana Kanda. That is justification for Jnana Kanda following the Karma Kanda. For Jnana Kanda being a separate prakaranam, having its own Anubandha Chatushtaya. Once this is clear in our own mind also, then we know that Upanishad requires an independent study. The study of Karma Kanda has one thing to do, and study of Jnana Kanda is something else which has to follow. Therefore, now the author begins from the second verse, Samapayya kriya sarvaha dharajna dhana purvikaha brahma vidyam athedanim vaktum vedah prachakrame. What does the Veda do? Vedah prachakrame. So, prakrama means beginning. Veda now commences. Brahma vidyam vaktum veda prachakrame. Now Vedas commence the expounding of Brahma Vidya. Atha idanim. Having completed something, now Vedas commence the exposition of Brahma Vidya. What is Veda done? Samapayya kriyaha sarvaha. So, having dealt with all the kriya, sarvaha kriyaha, having dealt with all kinds of actions, meaning that no action needs to be dealt with and no action needs to be performed. Actions performed at the level of the body, level of speech, level of mind. So, sarvaha kriyaha vidhivihitaha samapayya. Having dealt with, it is not that if some kriyas are not dealt with the karma kanda, then maybe those kriyas or actions may have something to contribute, in which case you may need to perform those karma because I need that endeavor, I need to perform that karma which is not dealt by the Vedas. But no, whatever human being needs here and hereafter, or whatever an aspirant needs as a preparation of moksha, all of that the karma kanda provides. Abhyudaya and nishreyasa. So karma kanda prescribes all that is required of abhyuda or material prosperity, as well as nishreyasa for preparation of nishreyasa or moksha. So having gone through karma kanda, Veda feels that it is satisfied, having provided to human being whatever the human being needs to satisfy his desire. The desires can be classified as abhyudaya or nishreyasa. If you want material prosperity here or hereafter, these are the rituals. If you want to prepare for jnanam, here is what we prescribe by way of the nitya naimiti karma, etc. Sarvaha kriyaha samapaya. After dealing with all the kriyas, that is important. Sarvaha kriyaha samapaya. Vedas are quite sure that in future also no kriyas will come. They will contribute something different. Different actions can come, the forms can be there. But whatever an action has to contribute to fulfill the need of the human being, by way of material prosperity or spiritual growth, all those things have been covered by the Vedas. Quite sure. Dharagni adhana purvika. Which karmas require the panktam karma? So requires dhara, ajnadhanam, etc. That it's meant for a grihastha, a householder. Now, these karmas. The Samhita section is meant for brahmachari. Brahmana section meant for a grihastha. Aranyaka meant for a vanaprastha. And the Vedanta meant for sannyasi. Brahma Vidyam Athedan Vaktum Veda Prachakrame. Now Veda commences the exposition of the Brahma Vidya. Nanu karmani krutani kartuhu falapradani loke drishtani. We find that when you perform the karma, they give rise to karma phala. And moksha also is a karma phala. If moksha is karma phala, the phala means is something to be attained, put it this way. Right now you are bound and you have to become liberated. Therefore, moksha, liberation also is something to be attained. And whatever has to be attained as a result of some karma. So now that the Vedas have dealt with all the karma, all that can be attained is already dealt with. And moksha also has to be attained because it's a goal, it's a purushartha. And therefore karma will take care. Na vidya krutyamastiti. Like Swarga, moksha also is purushartha, also is a goal to be attained. And just as Vedas prescribe the rituals of karma for attaining Swarga, similarly, Vedas also are competent to prescribe whatever is required to attain moksha. So, what's the role of vidya or knowledge? Therefore, says the third verse, Karmani deha yogartham deha yoge priya priye dvesyatam tato rago dveshashchaiva tatah kriyaha. Karmani deha yogartham. When you perform the karma, this karma phala. For experiencing the karma phala, you have to take another body. This is sakama karma. Meaning karma that is meant as a means of attaining something. Because they are placing moksha also as something to be attained. The same class as Swarga, etc., which is to be attained. So, whatever kamya karma is there will produce its results, for experiencing which you have to take another body. So, कर्माणि देह योगार्थम देह योगे प्रिया प्रिय. Moment you are connected with the body, you are born with the body, you are identified with the body, and body is subject to priya priya, the pleasant and the unpleasant, the raga and the dvesha. Dvesyatam, so pleasant unpleasant is going to happen at the level of body. Rago dveshasya, raga attachment for what is pleasant, aversion for what is unpleasant. When body is there, heat and cold are going to be there. Comfort, discomfort will be there. Body also includes subtle body, honor, dishonor, all of this will be there. That being case, raga dveshas will be there. You want pleasant, not unpleasant, honor, not dishonor. Rago dvesh tatah kriyaha. Raga dveshas are impulses. Impulse is that which you cannot control. Impulse is that which controls you. That's called impulse. Raga attachment also is an impulse. Dvesha aversion also is an impulse. Tatah kriyaha. Those impulses will prompt you, impel you to perform actions whether you like them or not. Karyate shivasah karma sarvah prakriti jair gunai. Raga dveshas will make a human perform action helplessly. Dharma dharma tatognyasya. An ignorant person prompted by raga dvesha will perform actions will be classified as dharma or adharma. Sometimes you control your impulse and stick to dharma. Sometimes impulse controls you and you compromise dharma also. So dharma dharmo tata agnyasya. An ignorant person, aviveki, a non-discriminating person, because he's not a mumukshu. Therefore, dharma and adharma are bound to be there, papa punya. Deha yogas tatha punaha. They'll bring about another birth again as a result of the karma. Yom nitya pravuttoyam samsara chakravad bhrisham. The samsara, the transmigrated existence, thus is going on continuously like a wheel. Meaning that karma cannot give out a release from anartha. तस्माद् अहिकार्थानां कर्मणां अनित्यफलत्वस्य लोके दृष्टत्वात्. That karma phala is always anityam, is always mortal, anityam. That being the case, even the karma of the Swarga also, Amusmik karma also will be of that same nature. And therefore, Iha karma jito lokakshireva mutra punya jito lokakshire. The karma always gives rise to karma phala, which is always will get exhausted. That being the case, it will never give you release. It can never give you anything permanent. So karma cannot bring about moksha. What is moksha? Nityam. And therefore, nasti kritah kritena. Moksha is that which is nitya or eternal, and karma cannot produce moksha. Nanu evamopi mokshartina jnanena prayojanam nasti. Even then we say that one who is seeking moksha has no need for jnanam or brahma jnanam. कृतकर्मणां संसारनिमित्तानां फलभोगानन्तरं नाशे सति. Whatever karma you perform in the past, you'll experience the result of those, and therefore nothing else to be done now. So if karma does not give rise to moksha, but if there is no bondage, you say it is taking another birth. When you have another birth, another body, identification, ragadvesha, etc. But we say that there is no rule that you have to have a next birth. Kruta karmanam samsarame phalavoganantaram nashe sati. We can conduct ourselves in such a manner that all the karmas, the effect of all the past karmas is experienced. No new karma is performed. In which case, there will be no next birth. And therefore, the fifth verse is Ajnanam tasya moolam syat iti tadhanamishyate brahma vidyat arabdha tato nishreyasam bhaved. Ajnanam tasya moolam syat. Ajnanam samsarasya moolam syat, natu karma. Karma is not the moolam of samsara. It is not karma that causes samsara. It is true that karma brings about karma phala. Karma phala brings about the next birth. Next birth brings about the identity of the next body. That brings about experience of pleasure and pain. That brings about ragadveshas, the impulses. That brings about the karma. Karma phala, it is true. So that is how karma seems to be the cause of the perpetuation of the cycle of birth and death. Karma is not the original cause. If karma were the original cause, you can imagine that no karma will be left in my balance, in which case there will be no birth. But karma is not the original cause. Ajnanam tasya moolam syat. Ajnanam tasya samsarasya moolam syat. Ignorance is the moolam, the root cause of samsara. Iti tadhanamishyate. Samsara will not be eliminated unless the original cause of samsara is eliminated. Karma is not the original cause, ignorance is the original cause. Therefore, it is cessation of ignorance that will bring about the cessation of samsara. Tadhi shokam atmavid. It is knower of self that only crosses samsara. Brahma vidya ata arabdha tato nishreyasam bhaved. Thus, in these verses, the necessity or unavoidability of Brahma vidya is established. That karma kanda and what karma kanda provides us is not competent to bring about moksha, which is nitya, which is therefore already existing, therefore already here and now. So what separates me from moksha is not some space and time and some condition which can be filled by karma. What separates me from moksha is ajnanam. If moksha was away from me in space, time or condition, then karma will be required to remove that interference or obstacle of time, place and condition. Moksha is already prapta, already attained. What separates me from moksha is ajnanam. Therefore, ajnanam is to be removed. If that is not removed, any movement in space, time and condition will not bring out moksha. Therefore, moksha labdaiva bhavet keval atmasvara avasthan rupa moksha ajnana nivrittau. Therefore, by cessation of ignorance, moksha, kevala atmasrupa avasthan rupa moksha hai. What is moksha? Nothing but abiding in my true nature. If moksha was to be attained, then it will require an effort. This is what? Kevala atmasrupa avasthana rupa. Merely abiding in my own true nature. That's all. Just being myself. Abiding in my own self is moksha. If I was separated from myself, then something has to be done to bring them together. I already what I am, and therefore I just have to be what I am. Abiding in my own nature is moksha. Therefore no karma has no place. It is ignorance that causes a sense of bondage, and therefore knowledge alone can bring about this cessation of ignorance. Nanu karmanam vichitra shaktitvat. Why do you think karma cannot bring about moksha? You say moksha is nitya, eternal, limitless. And nasti krita kritena, by karma you cannot bring about something which is eternal. Why not? Karmanam vichitra shaktitvat. The karma has inscrutable power. And therefore hiranyadaha amrutatvam bhajante. Those who give the dakshina of gold, they attain immortality, etc. And therefore, if karma can bring about moksha, then why do you need knowledge? Therefore, the sixth verse is Vidyaiva jnanahanaya na karma pratikulatah na jnanasya prahanehi ragadvesha kshayo bhavet. Ragadvesha kshayabhave karma doshodbhavam dhruvam tasman nishresarthaya vidyaivaatra vidhiyate. Vidya eva jnanahanaya na karma pratigna. Ajnanahanaya vidya eva samartha. The knowledge is competent to remove ignorance. Why is it so? Na karma. Karma is not competent to remove ignorance. Why? Apratikulatah. Because it is not opposed to ignorance. Karma, being product of ignorance, is not opposed to ignorance. Therefore, any kind of karma. Even Ashwamedhadi karma also cannot remove ignorance because it will come later. Karma requires kartrutva, and therefore karma perpetuates ignorance, cannot eliminate ignorance. Apratikulatah. Na ajnanasya prahane ragadvesha kshayo bhaved. And unless ignorance goes away, the sense of I-ness, ego will not go away, ahankara, mamakara, and so long, ragadvesha so long cannot go. Ragadvesha kshaya bhave karadoshodbhavam dhruvam. And therefore, as long as ignorance persists, so long the sense of ego will persist, so long ragadvesha will persist. As long as ragadveshas are there, so long karma is inevitable. Karma doshodbhavam dhruvam. When karma is there, the next body is there, and therefore this ceaseless cycle of the birth and death will be there. Tasman nishresayarthaya vidyaivaatra vidhiyate. So karma is not competent to bring about moksha. We said that avidya is the cause of bondage. So as well, karma has inscrutable power. Maybe karma can eliminate ignorance. So karma cannot eliminate ignorance because karma is not opposed to ignorance. Karma is born of ignorance. And as long as ignorance is there, ragadveshas will be there. As ragadveshas are there, karma will be there. Now that is there, so long cycle of birth and death will be there. As long as that is there, so long the suffering is going to continue. Tasman nishreyasarthaya vidyevatra vidya. Therefore, for nishreyas or moksha, vidya here is now prescribed. Enjoy. Then the samuchayavad is all right, we accept that you require knowledge for elimination of ignorance. But for moksha, knowledge is not adequate. For eliminating ignorance, you require knowledge, all right. But knowledge is not alone competent gives to moksha. Along with knowledge, you also require karma. So that is the jnana karma samuchaya. That yes, you require knowledge for eliminating ignorance. For moksha, you require jnana karma. So it nanu karma tatha nityam kartavyam jivane sati vidyayaha sakaritvam moksham prati tadvrajed. Karma tatha nityam tatha nityam karma kartavyam jivane sati. Yavat jivam agnihotram jihoti. Veda says that one should perform the daily and incidental obligatory duties as long as one is alive. Therefore, you cannot give up karma. Vidyayaha sakaritvam moksham prati tadvrajed. And therefore, since you are supposed to perform nitya naimitika karma, therefore, Veda says you cannot give up nitya naimitika karma. And therefore, along with vidya, the karma must be there. So, karma vrajet prapnaya tat karyam mumukshana. So, 9th verse said, Yatha vidya tatha karma choditatva visheshatah. See, Upanishad prescribes both, enjoins both. Vidyam cha yastat vedo bhayam sah. Avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidya mritamashnute. Ishavasya specifically says, clearly says, Vidyam cha yastad vedo ubhayam sah. One who undertakes both vidya as well as avidya. Avidya means karma, vidya means knowledge. So Upanishad says that one must perform together the knowledge as well as karma. Avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya amritamashnute. You cross over the death by karma and gain immortality by knowledge. Yatha vidya tatha karma sodhitatva avisheshatah. So there, what does the word vidya mean? If vidya means Brahma Vidya, then that verse prescribes both the simultaneous performance of vidya and avidya. Pratyavaya svadeschaiva karyam karma mukshavi. Secondly, that you fail to perform your duty, akarane pratyavaya. You fail to perform the duty, then it's an offense. You incur sin, you go to hell. So number one, vidya and avidya, both of them are prescribed together, enjoined together. And secondly, you cannot give up avidya or karma because giving a karma is an offense. You incur sin. you have to go to hell. Therefore, you cannot give up karma. Then Siddhanta says, Nanu dhruphala vidya nanyat kinchit apekshate. So Vedantin says, Vidya dhruphala. Vidya, Brahma Vidya indefinitely gives rise to result of moksha. Meaning that you say that Brahma Vidya requires also the association of karma to bring about the result of moksha. That Brahma Vidya itself is not adequate to bring about moksha. Therefore, karma also, Brahma Vidya should be supplemented by karma. Then only Brahma Vidya can give rise to moksha. Because Brahma Vidya by itself is not strong enough to give rise to moksha. Vedanta says, no, Nanu dhruphala vidya nanyat kinchit apekshate. Says, no, Vidya dhruphala. We say that the knowledge indefinitely brings about the moksha. Knowledge dispels ignorance. Just as light dispels darkness. And for dispelling darkness, light doesn't require any aid. So also for dispelling ignorance, knowledge does not require any aid. Therefore, dhruphala vidya, knowledge is sure to bring about the cessation of ignorance and thereby bring about moksha. Nanyat kinchit apekshate. For dispelling ignorance, knowledge does not require any aid. Just as for dispelling darkness, light does not require any aid. So also when dispelling ignorance, knowledge does not require any aid. And all that is required is dispelling ignorance for moksha. Therefore, karma is not required. Then says, karma kanna agnishto yathevanyat dhrukaryo papekshat. Just an argument. That agnishtoma karma also, if you perform agnishtoma karma, it will definitely give rise to result if it is performed as prescribed, as stipulated. Karma, like agnishtoma is an example. The idea is that karma also is dhruphalam. Karma also necessarily brings about the result. That is, they stated there, as long as karma is performed as prescribed, as stipulated. So Brahma Vidya is dhruphala. Then Brahma Vidya necessarily gives rise to the outcome. So does karma. So dhruphalatvam cannot be the reason for saying that Brahma Vidya doesn't require karma or karma cannot bring about the moksha. Yasaivanyad dhrukaryopi apekshate tatha dhruphala vidya karma nityam apekshate. So agnishtoma is definitely given. Still agnishtoma requires aid. Dhruphalatva means that which definitely gives rise to the stipulated outcome. And agnishtoma also falls in category of that which brings about the stipulated outcome. But still agnishtoma also requires chanting mantras and so many things are required for agnishtoma to bring about its result. Otherwise it cannot. If agnishtoma is not performed in a stipulated manner, then even though agnishtoma is said with dhruphalam, it will not bring about. So even though agnishtoma is dhruphalam, meaning that will bring about the stipulated result, agnishtoma can do that only when it is supported by many accessories. Therefore, anything that gives rise to Dhruva-phalam must stipulate result must also be accompanied by the accessories. And you say Brahma Vidya also brings about the stipulated result, so it also must be accompanied by accessories. You follow? You are saying that Vidya is Dhruva-phala. It necessarily brings about the result, namely moksha. So no, that's all right. Dhruva-phalatvam does not require an aid. Agnishtoma also necessarily brings about its result, as stipulated, only when it is supplemented, complemented by many accessories. So even though Brahma Vidya is Dhruva-phala, it also requires accessories, namely karma. Why not? That's the argument. Tatha Dhruva-phala Vidya karma nityam apekshate. Just as Agnishtoma is Dhruva-phalam and still requires the many sahakari. Similarly, even though Vidya is Dhruva-phala, it still requires sahakari, namely karma. Purely intellectual discussion. What is meant by intellectual is purely going by the rules of the Shastra. This will be all dismissed by Tarka. But right now the discussion is, even if you accept what the Shastra says, then also. Just Dhruva-phalatam doesn't mean that you require an aid, that will have to be proven. Ityavam kechidichanti. That's what some people desire or argue. That even though Brahma Vidya is Dhruva-phala, like Agnishtoma, Brahma Vidya also require accessory. And therefore, you cannot say karma is not required. To that we say, na karma pratigulata. An accessory is all right. A complementary thing is all right, provided it is compatible. See, dal, sabji, chawal, all of them can go together. Milk and cereal can go together, compatible. But milk and lemon cannot go together, they are not compatible. So just as you eat milk and cereal together, doesn't mean you can eat anything together. Milk and lemon cannot be taken together because they are not compatible. One is opposed to the other, one cannot be when the other is there. Na karma pratikulataha. Karma is opposed in nature to knowledge, therefore they cannot coexist. You can combine two things which can coexist. You cannot combine the mouse and cat because they cannot coexist. Two cats can coexist, maybe, but a cat and mouse cannot coexist. Therefore, you cannot apply that rule everywhere. Karma na karma pratigulataha. Vidyaya pratikulami karma syat sabhimanataha. Karma is opposed to Vidya, incompatible to Vidya. Because karma requires abhimanam. Karma requires a sense of identity, abhimanam. I am so and so, I am a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, abhimanam, and identity is required. Then only karma can be applicable to you. Because karma requires an adhikari. Karma also has Anubandha Chatushtaya Karma Kanda. One of the Anubandha is what? Adhikari. Who is adhikari? Who is the one competent to perform action? One who has identity. I am so and so. The Brahma Vidya also requires adhikarita, but not abhimanam. That requires sadhana chatushtaya, not abhimanam. Karma requires brahmanoham, kshatriyoham, gruhastoham. Because karma specifies who can perform the karma. Everybody cannot do cooking, only a cook can do that. Even everybody cannot do sweeping because a sweeper can do that. People are qualified. Only qualified people can perform karma. So qualification requires a training, requires an identity for karma. And that identity is opposed to the knowledge, because knowledge is elimination of identity. And karma requires perpetuation of identity. न कर्म प्रतिकूल विद्यायाः प्रतिकूलमी कर्म स्यात् स्वाभिमानतः निर्विकारात् उद्दिश्य विद्या इति प्रकीर्तिता. निर्विकारोहम, निर्विकार आत्मबुद्धि, निर्विकारात्मा अहम. ब्राह्मण इज ब्रह्म बुद्धि इज विकारी बुद्धि. That I am so and so constantly undergoes change. Nirvikara buddhischa. Never karma aham tu aham brahmana asya karmana karta mama idam karmam sadyam aham karta mama idam sat iti karma pravardate. Aham brahmana asya karmasya karta mama idam karma sadyam phalam bhavishyati. Aham brahmana perform such and such karma will attain this kind of outcome. This abhimanam is there. This self-consciousness must be there. What is self-consciousness? That I am so and so. Brahmana is an example. That I will perform such and such karma. For I will get such and such outcome. All of that consciousness must be there. Then only karma pravartate. Whereas jnanam naham karta, naham bhokta. I am not karta, I am not kintu. Kutastham Brahma evasmeti. Kutastha Brahma I am. That's the buddhi. So these buddhis are opposed. The kind of buddhi, the kind of thought, the kind of notion that is required to perform karma is quite opposed to the notion or conclusion required to perform for Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya requires this awareness. Naham karta, naham bhokta. Karma requires awareness. Aham karta, aham bhokta. They cannot coexist. Then, vastvadhina bhaved vidya, kartradhino bhaved vidhi. Also, a karma is the result of vidhi. Brahmano yajeta. Brahmana should perform the karma, such and such karma. Is what? Kartradhina, Brahmana alone can perform. Therefore, karma necessarily calls for a karta. Vidya doesn't depend upon karta, Vidya depends upon the object of knowledge. Vastu tantram jnanam. Ghata jnanam does not depend on who the knower is. Ghata jnanam is determined by ghata and not by the knower of ghata. Whereas karma is determined by the performer of karma and not what karma is. Karma does not determine who the performer is. Karta determines. Jnana is determined by what the knowledge, what the object of knowledge is. Therefore also they are not compatible to each other. So this is how the argument is going on, that the whole discussion is for establishing that Upanishad is a separate prakaranam. Has its own anubandha chatushtaya. That should first become clear, particularly for a person who is coming from the background of karmakanda. That's the person who will come to the teacher. So presuming that the student sitting in front of the teacher has a background of karmakanda, the orientation should become very clear. That for jnanam you must have a certain orientation different from orientation of karma. Anubandha means orientation. The whole orientation should change. Orientation of doing something is one orientation, and knowing something is a different orientation. The orientation of mind to perform karma is of one kind. The orientation of mind for knowledge is a different orientation. That should change. Therefore, the teacher has to bring about a proper orientation into the student. Then only he can proceed to expound the topic subject matter. So that's what is being done here. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.